With the holidays approaching, one of my favorite things to do with mashed potatoes is to make Duchess potatoes. My version is a twist on the classic French preparation. I add roasted garlic and herbs. I pipe it off and bake it, and they come out to be absolutely beautiful and wow your guests. My name is Amy, and I'm on a mission to become a better cook. Subscribe below and join me. So let's make Duchess potatoes. So we're going to use russet potatoes because we want that fluffy consistency. So I have 2 pounds, I actually weighed this out, 2 pounds of peeled russet potatoes. And I've cut them like this because I want them to be all kind of a similar size so they'll cook in the same amount of time. I have a pot of water here. It's just cold tap water. We want to put our potatoes in the water while it's cold, because you want to bring it up to temperature from cold so the potatoes cook evenly. They're not like thrown in here and shocked and then the outside cooking faster than the middle. So we have just plain tap water. We're going to bring this up to a boil, and when it hits a boil, we're going to lower it down. We don't want it to boil because we don't want them to mash it up inside the pot as they cook. We're just going to simmer these potatoes until they're fork tender. Okay, so the potatoes are fork tender. What I did is I took them out, I drained the water, and I put the potatoes back in here on low for maybe like a minute, and then I shut the heat off just to dry the potatoes out a little bit. And so we have nice dry potatoes. Ooh, yeah, looks good. I love mashed potatoes. So what I have here is 2 egg yolks and 1 whole egg. And we're just gonna beat this just a little bit. And you could do one of 2 things. Ideally, you'll use a ricer. And what a ricer does is it takes every bit of lump out of these potatoes. And that's what you want. You want them as smooth as possible because we're going to be piping them. And if you have any chunks of potato in there, it's going to get stuck in the tip. So I have this masher that's sort of like a quasi-ricer. See those holes in it? This is what a ricer looks like. They might be a little thinner than this, but this actually kind of acts like a ricer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give us an initial little mash on it just to get it going. And this might seem a little weird, but it's not that weird. I'm going to take a scoop of this potato and I'm going to throw it in the egg. I'm just going to stir this up. I don't want to make scrambled eggs, so I'm just doing this to heat it up a little bit. So we're going to take our egg, we're going to throw it back in here. Ooh. And the egg helps for browning, and it serves as a binder. And I also have like a half a stick of melted butter. Right? Yeah. And we're just gonna get to mashing. And like I said, you want this really, really smooth.
You know, bacon would be a good binder too.
That is twice baked potatoes. Duchess potatoes is like twice baked potatoes. except we're not going to be baking these back in the shell. We're just going to be piping these into a shape and then baking them. But you still get that same thing that you do with the twice baked potato, is you get that little brown crust on the outside. It kind of dries and gets a little crust, and then when you pop through it with your fork, it's nice and creamy on the inside. So see how cool this masher is? It's almost like a ricer. And look at how smooth those potatoes. I don't even know what the brand is on this. We got this at an Amish market. And the minute I saw it, I was like, this is really like a masher that I've seen at Williams-Sonoma. And we got it for nowhere near the price there. Look how nice and smooth that is. So now we're going to season the potatoes. Traditionally, Duchess Potatoes has salt, pepper, and nutmeg in it. And I love nutmeg, but for some reason I've made it like this a few times, and I prefer Amy seasonings over the nutmeg. So I'm going to season a little different. If you want classic Duchess potatoes, put a little nutmeg, fresh ground, with salt and pepper, you'll be good to go. But I'm going to do this a little differently. So we roasted some garlic in the oven. I'll leave a link down in the description for how to do this. But you just want it really mashed up. And I'm just going to put an amount, right? You can put as much as you want. I love garlic. Huh?
Come on, use more, Boo-Boo.
You want more than that?
Yeah, Boo-Boo.
It's going to light you on fire, Eric.
No, it's not. It's roasted. It's mild.
This is 2 heads I have here.
You didn't put it all in there.
No. I'll put a little more.
Oh, jeez.
Just for giggles. But it's going to be... We're going to really season this up with salt. Otherwise, your potatoes are going to be bland. And you definitely don't want that. I'm going to be using Sunny Paris. This is a seasoning mix from Penzeys. You can use whatever seasoning mix you like. But in Sunny Paris, we have purple shallots, chives, green peppercorn, French basil, French tarragon, chervil, bay, and dillweed. So you can use your favorite mix. If you don't want to use roasted garlic, just use garlic powder. You can use whatever kind of seasonings you love. Herbs, you can use fresh herbs. We were even talking about you could use Mrs. Dash and you can throw it in your grinder and grind it up a little bit, because Mrs. Dash is a little coarse. Woo! And I'm going to put in a little bit of ground white pepper. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. The Sunny Paris takes it over the top. Wow. See how nice and smooth this is? I love this masher. We just got it recently, and it's great. And just, you don't really want to taste test this because, you know, we put raw egg in there, so. So this is all to your taste. Look at that. Oh my gosh. That looks beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Mashed potatoes. Look at that. Just nice and creamy. I didn't even have to really add dairy, like milk to it. So let me get our piping bag ready. Okay, so one thing about Duchess potatoes as opposed to twice baked potatoes. Twice baked potatoes, you take this and you stuff it back into the shell. Duchess potatoes, we're going to pipe into like a rosette that's like a little mountain of joy, right? So this is my piping bag. I have it in a glass because it's just easier to fill in a glass. This is a 16-inch Wilton disposable piping bag. I'll put a link in the description to this. We also have a large tip on this. This is a star tip, and this tip is a 4B. I'll put a link to that as well in the description. And one of the things when you're piping anything, it's great to have a coupler. And this is a large Wilton coupler that works with this large tip. Pretty much, you cut the end of the bag off and you stick this part of the coupler in the bag. The purpose of the coupler is all you have to do if you want to switch tips on a bag of buttercream or whatever you have on here, you just take this end off, take the tip off, and put a new tip on there. You don't have to get a new bag and do a whole new setup. This is great for this because it keeps it in the bag and not all over the place. So we have our tip there and we have our bag here. So we're going to go ahead and fill it with the potatoes. And just keep it in here so it doesn't fly all over the place. Cause this can be a very messy job if you're not careful. And don't overfill it. This has like a maximum fill line. Put a tiny bit more. And what I'm going to use is one of these bag ties. This keeps it then from going out of the top of the bag. So we're just going to go ahead and twist that. And the bag tie just works. Sometimes this is hard to get on. You just turn it around like this and hook this in here like that. And now you officially have your bag tied off and you're ready to start piping. This keeps it from spilling out the bottom and this keeps it from squishing out the top. So let's pipe us some Duchess potatoes. Time to pipe. Now I am definitely not an expert piper, so we'll see how this goes. So I have a parchment lined jelly roll pan, baking sheet, and we're going to go ahead. You're basically going to do a rosette. So you're going to do this, but you're going to mound it up so it's a little bit of a mound. So let's see what we can do here.
Ooh.
Look at that, pretty. So that one's a little on the like lopsided side, so let's try this again. Ooh, that one's pretty. It does do. This one, he's got issues. Woohoo! And since this is just mashed potatoes on here, if you screw one up, you can just scoop it back out, put it in there, and repipe it. I think I need a refill. So you're just going to take this little thing off, open the bag back up, and fill this up. You might need more than one sheet pan for this, depending on how big you make your Duchess potatoes. But I think with this 16-inch bag, this usually fills up the bag twice with potatoes. Wilton's going to be mad at me because I'm a little above the fill line. The more you do this, the more experience you'll get, the more there'll be consistent size, and they'll look better than mine. Yeah, when they're consistent, they'll cook more even. So let me go grab another pan. So we're just gonna lightly dab them with butter. We got some melted butter here. You don't wanna mess up your little piping job. So just be really careful when you do it. Just sort of lightly brush it or do this. Get some drips on it. Butter, butter on potatoes, and more butter. I say that's right up our game, right? So we have our oven preheating to 375, and we're going to bake these off. It's going to take probably 30-40 minutes. Just start checking them about 20 minutes. It'll take a while for them to start brown, so they'll start drying out on the outside, and then they'll start browning. And then we'll take them out and take a taste. So we'll be back. So our Duchess potatoes are out of the oven, and they look fantastic. So let's get them. I have my little fish spatula. You want something that's kind of can handle stuff that's delicate. Look at that. Is that beautiful? These are little bundles of yumminess. Look at how beautiful that is. It's nice and brown on the top. So you want 3 across here, Bill?
Whatever's easier to eat with.
Wow, these are great to put like on a meat platter. They're so beautiful, and they really dress up your service. So
come on now, you can get them a little closer to each other.
Just making us a little platter here, picking out the most beautiful ones, right? How about we get this one here?
Sure.
Ooh, yeah. And we're gonna sprinkle them with a little bit of chives. My chives are damp, so see how we can do this here? For decoration, right?
Sure.
They're not sticking to my
Can I comment real quick?
What?
In all defense, bacon bits would probably equally bounce off as well.
That one got a few on there. Okay. I'm just playing games here. When you scoop one up, you can get a chive along with it. So we're gonna get a little plate and take a taste. They look fantastic. Time to take a taste. I'm gonna take 2. And I mean, these are great for a meat platter. Just put them alongside your steak, your turkey, your roast. And they're fantastic. You can really taste the garlic. Eric had me put a lot of garlic. The Sunny Paris is really good. They're like crunchy on the outside and pillowy on the inside. So once you get through that crunch, you got the pillowy potato. Oh my gosh. It's so good. They're like little pillows of joy. I hope you guys are having a great Thanksgiving season. You're getting ready for the big day. All the cooks are gathering their recipes and getting their ingredients, and So we'll be ready to cook, right? Try these. They're fantastic. If you like this video, please subscribe below and leave me a comment and a like. Visit my website at amylearnstocook.com. I'm also on Twitter and Pinterest at Amy Learns to Cook. And on Facebook, I'm at facebook.com/groups/Amy Learns to Cook. We have a lot of great conversations, especially with the holidays. So come and join us. I'm also on Instagram at Cooking with Amy.
I want my own one.
Garlicky.
A little garlic, not bad. The roasting tempers them. Lots of flavor. So,
Mashed potato. Mashed potato.